Hey guys, Logan here, and Happy New Year to each and every one of you. 2018 has been a wild year, like I said in my last video, and this is my top 10 worst movies of 2018 video. This is just me focusing on my top 10 least favorite films of 2018. These are the films that I saw in 2018, and ones that really made me question myself as to why I watched them, and why I wasted my time watching them because of how terrible they are to me. You know, films that do that to me. And before I get into my number 10 pick, I do have a pair of dishonorable mentions. These were the films that were like the exact polar opposite of good. They were really awful, but didn't quite make my list. Annihilation. Wow, this movie looks so beautiful. It's so visually stunning. The special effects look amazing. And who gives a damn, man? This movie was underwhelming as hell. A Wrinkle in Time, an absolutely weird and not in a good way type of film that does look visually stunning. Don't get me wrong, the film looks really good. But it doesn't really grasp me on the whole storytelling, the character development, and the discombobulated tone that it has. So I really did not like this film at all, whatsoever. And the next 10 are even worse than the two. So let's begin at number 10, shall we? Oh, The Possession of Hannah Grace. Why was this movie even made? Why was this film needed to be put on the big screen? There's no reason for this movie to exist. We already seen a story like this, like maybe 100 times in the past. The characters have no depth, and you don't really care about them whether they live or die. And the jump scares in this film are loud, lazy, and predictable as hell. This is the first and not last horror film to be put on this list, though, so stay with me. The only explanation I can think of for why this movie was made is the fact that this film has delved into the origins of the demonic nun, Valak, from The Conjuring 2, which the demonic nun was also in. That's just it, though. Other than that, this film has none of the thrills of The Conjuring 2. It doesn't have an engaging story like The Conjuring 2 had, and very much like the Possession of Hannah Grace, it also has very loud and predictable and lazy jump scares that you see coming from a mile away. And this film, honestly, as a whole, felt like a bland, generic, cliche horror film. I was really excited to see Mile 22 because the trailers for this film look really badass, and they got me hooked up to see Mile 22. But after seeing that film in theaters, I saw a completely different movie than what I saw from the trailers. This film has the worst editing I have seen in 2018. The action was cut to shit. You couldn't see what was happening all at once. The performances were also not very good, mainly Mark Wahlberg's. His character in this film was so incredibly wooden. You also don't really care about him, nor do you care about anything else that happened in this film, because this film, Mile 22 as a whole, just completely falls apart on every level. This is one of the biggest disappointments that 2018 has to offer. Oh my god, The Predator. If Mile 22 wasn't disappointing enough, The Predator is definitely one of the most abominable letdowns to ever get through. This film was an absolute joke, and it's not even a funny joke. It really lost its whole sense of identity as a Predator film. It didn't even feel like a Predator film, and the third act of this movie was an absolute disaster. It makes no sense, and it felt like Shane Black no longer wants to finish this film within the third act. It felt like he doesn't want to do this film anymore. He just gave up on it like, freak it. I don't want to finish it. I really hate this movie. This is the worst out of all the 4 Predator films. No, I'm not counting the AVP films. I'm counting the Predator films, the singular ones. Death Wish 2018 was one of the worst action remakes I have seen in such a long time. This film does everything wrong as an action revenge thriller film. Bruce Willis made a very wooden performance in this film, and the tone was very discombobulated and inconsistent. It was trying to be funny, and at the same times it was trying to be serious, and at the same times it was trying to be somewhere in between. This film is everything wrong with action revenge thriller remakes, and I hope we don't get any more action films that in the future that sucked like the Death Wish remake did. Slender Man is the worst horror film I have seen in 2018. There is nothing special or interesting, as a matter of fact, about Slender Man. Nothing. Virtually nothing. It has a story about this creepy tall thin creature in a black suit and a faceless head called Slender Man, but the film barely gave him a screen time. The film wasn't even about him. This film mainly is about these 2 girls trying to get their friend back by trying to negotiate with Slender Man, and I couldn't even care less about that. This film puts me to sleep many times when I watch it. It was just an absolute boredom fest to watch, and it was also very irrelevant at this point to be put on the big screen, especially when this film was about 3 years too late. Truth or Dare. I could easily put this film at the #1 spot on my list for worst movies of 2018 because of how because of how much of a complete failure it was and how everything about it was a big mess. But I couldn't. Why? Well, because I really enjoyed this film through and through. I never laughed harder or louder than when I watched Truth or Dare. The stupid evil grin-like faces and the old man jumping out from a vending machine to scare one of the younger characters. This film has all of that. This is the best unintentionally funny horror film I have seen in a long time. Now that's not really saying much, but because this film was really awful. 50 Shades Freed is exactly what you would expect in a film like this. You would expect to see Anastasia and Christian going on vacations and having sex multiple times. That is just it. That is just the movie. It's them going on vacations and having sex many times. That's it. That's the movie. This film also has one car chase scene with a pop song playing in the background, which was the best thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm kidding. But no, in all seriousness, this is a truly terrible film in every way. Now, gratefully, this is the last film, the last 50 Shades movie we will ever see. And I could not celebrate that enough. This 2018 version of Robin Hood was every bit as horrible as I was afraid it was going to be. The costume designs in this film look way too modern for a time to be in that this film took place in. And the performances across the board, Taron Egerton, Jamie Foxx, Ben Mendelsohn, and everybody else, their performances were not good, as well as the action in this film. There were also many slow-mos within the action scenes that I just can't stand watching, and the acting was horrendous. The CGI looked atrocious, and the writing, the directing, and the character development felt so lackluster in every way. This film is the epitome of a failure, but it's not as much of a failure as my number one most hated film of 2018. So, speaking of which, my number one worst movie of 2018 is The First Purge, the fourth film in the Purge franchise. God help me. Now, instead of telling you guys how much I hate this movie with every fiber of my being, I want to give you a demonstration as to how I feel about this film, The First Purge, when I saw it, just to give you a better idea as to why this film is number one on my list for top 10 worst movies of 2018. Hope you enjoy.
At the Siren, all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 hours.
There's a lot of good people out there who we're going to have to protect.
All emergency services
Really?
will be suspended.
Is that what it is? Come on, man. That's stupid. That's really stupid. Really dumb and stupid.
You predicted a much higher level of participation.
Human nature does not obey the laws of politics.
What the
You
heck?
gotta be kidding. That is just so outrageous. Can you imagine watching me doing that in 98 minutes? Everything about this movie sucks. The performances were not good at all. The acting was also not good. The dialogue was awful. And worst of all, there was a whole lot of stupidity in this film. A whole lot of stupidity to be found in this film. Like, there were many times throughout this film's runtime where I was like, this is stupid. This is really stupid. Who would actually do that? No one would really do that. Like, are you kidding me? Come on, that's just stupid. The First Purge is the type of movie that not only bores you to do anything like playing on your phone or doing something else that you do on a regular basis, but also insults your intelligence in ways that you didn't think would be possible. But the more you think about it, the more it pisses you off. That's what got me when I to this film when I first saw it and did a review/rant for it. The First Purge is officially the worst film I have seen in 2018. It is nothing short of a complete, utter garbage. Just an F-grade film, in my humble opinion. A 1 out of 5 type of film. A no Medal of Honor type of film. I will give you that. It's just that horrible. So anyway, guys, that is my top 10 worst movies of 2018 video. I'm so glad that I don't have to talk about any of these films ever again. I have one more top 10 list video to do, and it will be for tomorrow. That is for top 10 most anticipated movies of 2019. There are lots of films that I'm so looking forward to, particularly bigger ones like Avengers Endgame, the Lion King remake, and so much more. Oh man, now that I think of it, there's a lot of big films that I want to see this year. But anyway, guys, like I said, those are my top 10 worst movies of 2018. If you guys enjoyed this video, please click the like button and comment down below your top 10 worst movies of 2018. If you enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please press up there to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight.